Howdy doody everybody, I hope you're doing great. In today's video we're talking about Lost Ark. It's been so long, we've played this game so many times, but we haven't been able to actually talk about it. So I've got Alex here and I've got Paradise here, and we're going to be talking about some Lost Ark. We finally get to kind of spill the beans on Lost Ark and all of our experiences, right? With some gameplay footage, because we've uploaded a little bit of footage on the main channel, but never like anything what we're talking about here, like in a crazy amount, right? So Lost Ark, thumbs up, thumbs down.
So good. Like it's honestly it's just great to be like back in it. It's one of those things that we've been championing it from like the first time we played it, but this is if you guys are sleeping on this game, all I'm saying is you need to be playing this game.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's like nothing's filled that MMO void for quite a while. Obviously, New World's just come out, but that's got its own problems. Lost Ark is something that we've played in the past, and like we knew how great the combat was and how good it felt. We couldn't really do much more with it because of like the different languages and I think that you weren't allowed to show stuff as well, right? So it's exciting to be able to just even talk about it for one, but I am also interested as to like what you guys think about the end game, because we almost got there when we played it in the past as well, and there is actually a bit of depth to it, right?
Yeah, like we've never actually like properly stepped into the end game, which is the kind of like the worrying part, because people say pay to win and like the microtransactions and it's catered towards like that progression and stuff like that. But Amazon or who's taken it over from the Eastern studio to kind of produce it over here has basically said that they're going to be changing it over to cater towards Western audience. So I feel like they're going to strip out a bunch of that stuff, and I think they've even had a post about it already saying that they've changing some of the mechanics around that. And until we actually get into the proper end game, but I know in Korea it's doing particularly well, right? They've got millions of players per month grinding it out and doing whatever. So I'm guessing they must be enjoying like the content at least. And I know there's like Guardian raids, which are like Monster Hunter basically. You go there, you search for a monster, you fight it, you get loot and stuff. There's normal stuff as well, like just instance content to do as well, and then the dungeons in themselves are just super fun. And there's PvP, like that's one of the big key points for like me at least. Like there's PvP that you can go on and like just have fun with your friends with as well.
And I think open world bosses.
Yes, that's huge.
Yeah.
And the open world bosses are like insane, like 50 health bars. Like you need a lot of players, and they drop like good loot and stuff.
I was fighting one this morning just on my way to other stuff, and it was going quite well, and then I got kicked off the server, so it wasn't going very well. But yeah, they are very cool, because and I feel like the way the world bosses you encounter as well, this is always kind of cool, because if ever you're exploring the world and you see like this orange flaming ring, if you step inside it, it means the world boss is like somewhere around. So if you just happen to be questing, you're like, what's this? And then you step in. Yeah, you're in for basically just don't try and fight it if there's no one else with you, because you're going to be there for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
Isn't there like we never got to it before, but there's also like some kind of not city building, but like you like get your own island, right? And that sort of stuff.
That kind of thing. Yeah. We've never got to like explore that stuff, but yeah, that's the thing. This is one of the interesting things about Lost Ark. Like it's got so many. I kind of describe it almost like a best hits video game, right? Because it's just got so many different things. You've got professions. You can kind of, maybe not in the conventional sense of the other ones, but you've got professions you can lean into. You've got your questing, your classes, PvP, raids, monster hunter missions. Like if there's a kind of a content you like, you'll probably find something in Lost Ark, which I think is definitely worth checking out for that reason.
Yeah, and I think the aspect of it just being a MMO that's been established, and we know people like in other regions, and that 2 year or how old is this game? Like this, however old the game is now, that it's been developed.
Yeah.
That
like 2018 or something like that, 2017. Something like that.
We're getting all of that content now, and not all of it, because there's even classes that are not included in this beta in our Western release, but we know what's coming. We know that there's more exciting things happening, and we know that there's like just a breadth and width of content, which is not necessarily always apparent on a MMO launch, right? Normally it's like stripped down. You don't necessarily get all of that stuff, and you're going in, you're doing the same dungeon over and over again. Here it feels like there's a lot of stuff to do, and every time you walk into another area as well, I like the way that the theme like completely changes. So yeah.
You know, one thing I do really like as well, right? It's interesting because we've now done this. What if you think about like Korean beta, like the alpha, the beta, like, and we've leveled multiple characters. I feel like this is probably about like the 4th or 5th time, maybe even 6th time that we've like leveled a character. And in other MMOs that I've played before, like the beginning leveling experience is always just the most painful. You're just like, oh, I just don't want to do this. And like obviously, if you pick up a new class in Lost Ark, you still want to get through that stuff. But I will say, having replayed through the exact same content many times, the leveling experience is like so nice and smooth that I actually don't mind doing it. Like I think back to like when we played like WoW and we level a new character, I'm like, I do not want to kill more of these boars to pick up some like raw meat, but like I just don't mind it in Lost Ark. Like it's just super smooth. And especially if you do want to beeline it, like if you just skip all the side quests and you just do the main quest and then you just like keep spamming G to like go through all the dialogue, you can just like level up super fast and you're just getting through maps. So it actually feels pretty good experience if you just want to like get to some of the later content.
Yeah, I think that's one of
100%.
the things that makes it just such an enjoyable experience, because you're going through, you're hitting things, which really feels good, and then you get that nice leveling experience. What are you going to say, Paris?
I was going to say, I think the reasoning that the leveling experience, even us having done it several times now, is that the combat is so fun and just like feels good to kill like 10, 20, 30 mobs like on your screen. And 2.6, I know, because we're both playing the assassin, but different subclasses of the assassin, which both play differently. And I think for our characters specifically, it's a lot of juggling and comboing moves together, right?
Yeah. For me specifically, it's just like launch them into the air, then when they're on the floor, slash them so they're stunned, and then after that do like your death like jab, and yeah, it's actually mental the way that the combat system really works in this game. And I feel like when you have just there's one zombie mission that you get at the very start, and when you get to that mission and all the zombies are coming to you, you just understand the game and your class. You don't have all your abilities yet, but you're going in there, you're tagging all the zombies together, you're just doing massive amount of damage, you're absolutely just loving the game at that point. So yeah, combat system 10 out of 10 in this one.
100%. Yeah. I think, and that kind of extends to all the classes as well. Like even if you're playing, whether you're playing like the slower tanky classes or you're playing sort of some of the juggling ones, like every move like has its own kind of spectacle. So even if you are playing, even on something like the bard, like I don't play the bard, but I've seen people using them, and that is typically stance more so as like a support style character. So it's not as high damage, but even some of their moves, like they look flashy. So I don't feel like there's any class you could pick and just like, oh, I've got like a rubbish class that just doesn't really have anything cool. So yeah, don't stress about who you should be picking. Just find something you like and run with it, because you'll have some enjoyment out of that.
Yeah. How many classes have you played as like so far?
I think I've done 4. I think because I did Destroyer in the Korean one, which is my favourite one, which is unfortunately not in the Western version. The guy with the big hammer. But he came in later. They did also say, Amazon said they wanted to kind of like expedite the rollout of stuff, so I'm hoping we don't have to wait too long for that. I played the Berserker, who is really cool, but just for me, I'm still just a Destroyer guy. And then I've done Striker this time around, but previously I also played another one of the martial artists. So yeah, I think like four classes I think I've tried so far. Yeah,
definitely. I feel like the class that I'm on right now is definitely like my favourite so far that I've played out of all of them. Berserker's like close second, but yeah, this is definitely the one. What about you, Paradise? How many classes you played, and which one?
I played the martial arts Scrapper for a little bit, and I did enjoy that. I did play a little bit of is it the Berserker, the big greatsword guy? This was a while ago.
Yeah.
Did play a little bit of him. He was pretty cool too. But I felt like they didn't gel with me that well. And then another one that I played, which isn't in this Western one, is like it's a magician, but it's all like about magic, like card, like Twisted Fate from League of Legends. Like you have like the deck, and it like randomizes your abilities a little bit, and it was a really cool playstyle, and I really enjoyed that one. But then I found the subclass of the assassin, which used to be demonic, is now Shadowhunter, and the whole class is about like using demon powers, and basically your demon moves build your like demon gauge, and then when your gauge is full, you just transform into a demon, like Armon, the main, like one of the main characters.
It's Dante. It's DMC. It's Dante.
It literally is Dante. And when you transform, you get an entirely new action bar with like uber powerful moves, and as you level up, you get some insanely good ones. And it's just such a fun, like regardless of how it is at endgame, it's just so fun that I just had to play the class.
Yeah, definitely. So what are you guys like concerns, stuff that you don't necessarily like about the game, stuff that you feel like people will like be like, I'm not too sure about this one because of this? I feel like a load of people are just gonna write the game off because it's isometric in the first place, compared to like other MMOs. But if that's your type of game, or if you're not really too sure, if you're gonna try an isometric game, I feel like this is probably the one that is gonna be most action orientated for you. But what are some of those concerns that you guys think?
You've already mentioned it near the start. It's the worry of exactly what paying features you can get. Like, is it how pay to win is it going to be if it is a tool? And I know that they've addressed this by saying that they're going to change the like cash up model. But I am still worried about it because it's a legitimate worry for any MMO that's coming from like the East, right?
Yeah.
It's a different culture over there, and they accept a lot of these like more pay to win structured games, and we don't over here in the West. But from what we've been playing in this beta, we can actually see some of the shop, and it doesn't mean that we've seen all of it, so we still don't know. But what I have seen in the shop is that there isn't any like crazy XP boosts or damage boosts and you know, stuff like that makes it unbalanced. My hopes are high on that, but that is still a concern.
Yeah, I mean, if they invest more heavily just into like visual and cosmetic stuff, then I mean, because they got some cool stuff already, then I'm always fine if they do that, provided there's also some cool like cosmetic stuff in game. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, I guess really it's just the content, because obviously for us, I mean, again, like, you know, we've been excited for this game for such a long time, but yeah, I think it's important to realize that we've never quite got to the full scale end game. So I guess when we finally get there, it will be the interesting thing to sort of see if that does deliver, if that does kind of give us the kind of stuff we want to sort of check in on a regular basis, or whether it ends up being like, oh, this is what people were talking about. So I hope it's good. I mean, there's definitely some stuff that sounds really exciting, and I will say, I feel like people should check the game out regardless, because I think even if you do get to end game and you're like, you know what, the game isn't really for me, you're still gonna have a fun experience, get your character through to level 50, experiencing some great content. So, you know, even for people that might not want to play full scale MMO, like I'm going to log in every single day for the rest of my life, you might just even treat it like a kind of a 30-40 hour game playthrough and have some fun and level a couple of classes. Because one of the other cool things, in fact, is that they put in this power pass, so once you get one character max level, you can then just boost another character up, which I think is super cool, because then it means that, say if you want to dabble in a few classes and mess around, even if you don't plan to play super long term, I think there's some fun to be had on that side as well. So yeah, but that's my main concern.
I feel like people are going to be fuming about that, but I feel like that's a really good way to do microtransactions. Maybe that's something I've like had like oversight, or like not necessarily looking at the moment, for like how it could be used to negatively like impact the game. But it gives kind of freedom of choice. Obviously you can play through and just level up in the background that whole new class again, but I feel like just being able to like roll different classes based on like how high your main class is, I feel like I kind of like that, because it just means I can just rather than be like, oh, I'm going to invest X amount of time getting that class up, I can be like, oh, I like that new class, or I like this particular class, I'm just going to boost up and try out that other subclass that I like.
Well, because for some people that's sometimes a blocker, right? Like you think back to like when we used to play like WoW and stuff, like you want to try another class, but just the pain of having to go through like that level experience, sometimes before you've even got to the stuff you want to experience, you're just like, I can't be bothered anymore. So I think that stuff is kind of cool.
It was definitely like that for like Destiny, right? Destiny was like, you had to play through the campaign 3 times every time like a DLC came out, and you're just like, oh
no, thank you,
not again. And then you have to do obviously the content again, and this, you're basically just trying to play those alts for your main, basically. So it is what it is. We'll have to see how it all functions as a complete product. But for now, I've really enjoyed my time back on it for like the 5th time, just playing up the leveling experience. So I know that you guys have really enjoyed it. But do you guys have any videos going out this weekend, Alex?
Yes, we're putting out some handy tips that you guys will find useful, and also a multiplayer gameplay running through a dungeon with the squad. So if you want to sort of just see some fun gameplay, make sure you check it out.
Cool. What about you, Paradise?
Over on my channel, we'll be talking about like the classes that we picked and why we picked them and why we're enjoying them. We went a little bit into it in this, but we're going to expand on that, because there are some cool things to talk about the classes.
I can't wait for that video, because we'll be able to talk about all the abilities and how they function, and why I really like the Deathblade over your... I haven't tried your demonic class yet because it's spicy, but I will do, because your one looks very good, so it'll be exciting to see. So definitely go over to Paradise's channel and check that out. Yeah. Anyway, guys, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget you can subscribe so you don't miss another video.